Hi, good morning, and welcome to the Architectural Visualization webinar. I'm Levente Filatot from Graphisoft, and I will be your host today. In this presentation, you will see a short introduction to Graphisoft and Epic Games. Then Rift Architects of Norway will give you a brief look into their everyday work and also present the Jarlsberg Brugge project you will see later in the demo. Then you'll see the ARCHICAD Twinmotion direct link in action and learn how to start creating professional design presentations right away. We'll also save some time to answer your questions live. Please use the questions panel to ask questions, and please don't forget to click the send icon to send it to us. But first, let's start by introducing Graphisoft and its BIM solution ecosystem. So please allow me to pass the microphone to Alex Bicuc.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate that. As Lev mentioned, my name is Alex Bicuc, and I am the Director of Marketing here at Graphisoft North America. I'm joining you today from Waltham, Massachusetts, right outside of Boston. That's the headquarters for Graphisoft North America. Once again, thanks so much for joining us today. And I'm going to take you through, just in a couple of minutes, through the Graphisoft solutions and our ecosystem. So first up, we're going to talk about ARCHICAD, which is our main product. So ARCHICAD is a professional BIM solution built by architects for architects, is used by hundreds and thousands of professionals worldwide to save time in the design and the collaboration process, ensuring you can collaborate with engineers without errors and create documentation with ease. We also offer a product called BIMX. BIMX is the favorite mobile app of many architects as well as their clients. Using BIMX, anyone can fully understand an architectural project by discovering not only the 3D model, but all the connected documentation sets as well. Please download and check out BIMX app using the App Store or Google Play Store today. Another piece that we offer is BIM Cloud. BIM Cloud goes far beyond basic cloud services offerings available in the market today. It's the only cloud solution that offers a true model-based BIM collaboration environment for companies and projects of any size. The BIM Cloud Basic Product Plan offers a completely free yet very robust collaboration solution for smaller design practices. Also part of our family is Graphisoft's Open BIM. All Graphisoft solutions and workflows support open BIM collaboration principles that architects, engineers, contractors, clients, and facility managers equally benefit from, regardless of the software solution they're using, at any stage of the design, construction, or maintenance phase. And finally, just want to talk a little bit about the Graphisoft's great buildings around the globe. So we have great concrete examples of Graphisoft's dedication to innovation are found around the world. Whether those designs take shape as a multi-award winning college learning center in the United Kingdom, a city-defining structure in Spain, a graceful weekend home in the Japanese forest, an international NGO's headquarters in Massachusetts, or a library and cultural center in Norway. Graphisoft provides a strong foundation to each of the firms in their efforts. These buildings provide a glimpse at how our BIM tools help architects create some of the most breathtaking and advanced designs in the world. So thanks so much for joining once again. And now I'd love to pass the baton over to our colleague Martin from Epic Games. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. So, hi everyone. My name is Martin Krasman. I'm a Twinmotion product specialist. So, a quick introduction about Epic Games. So, the company operates as two major divisions, publishing and software. Through its publishing division, Epic Games is the creator of the world's most popular game, Fortnite, and has a history of other big hits. The software division of Epic Games serves both the gaming industry and what we call the enterprise. On the gaming side, 500 titles have been created by third-party gaming studios using Unreal Engine. On the enterprise side, we have thousands of customers among plenty of different industries like architecture, automotive, or the cinema. In 2016, we set up an enterprise team to address the specific needs of enterprise customers. We have grown to 70 people from 20 in just last year, with a dedicated engineering and support team of 30 people in Montreal. Today, the enterprise team is located in the UK, Germany, US, France, Korea, China, and Japan. So you can find us all over the world. We have had over 7 million downloads of Unreal Engine, 200,000 registrations to the Unreal Studio Beta, and more than 200,000 downloads of Twinmotion over the last couple of months. Visualization experts in architecture have figured out for themselves the value of real-time rendering. A recent survey by CG Architect found that Unreal Engine was the #1 real-time solution for production rendering, and the #1 renderer respondents were experimenting with, including traditional offline renderers. So when we talk about real-time, what does that really mean? So here is a quick comparison between an image generated with the standard ray tracing software, your usual rendering solution. It took 1.5 hours on a 2K resolution. And on the right, we have a project in Twinmotion. It's not a render, it's the quality I add in my viewport on my 4K monitor. So it's really a new way to approach rendering. You are not anymore just clicking the render button, going out for a lunch, and coming back to see the final output. In Twinmotion, if you want to do some changes, like changing the intensity of light, changing the materials, you do it in the viewport and you can see the effect right away. But when we created Twinmotion, our main goal wasn't to create a software that creates just render really quickly. The main idea behind Twinmotion was to create a software that can be used by anyone, with not a steep learning curve. We dedicated our effort of creating a friendly user UI, dedicated a library, so every architect can just pick the software and be productive with straight out of the box. With that in mind, we have also created what we call the direct link. The direct link creates a bridge between ARCHICAD and Twinmotion. So directly from ARCHICAD, in just one click, when you have installed the direct link, just one click, you send the data to Twinmotion. In Twinmotion, you can start to be immersed inside your project. You can start to change, to add some vegetation, add some entourage. And then from Twinmotion, in just one other click, you can switch to virtual reality. And this is where real-time gaming technology comes in really handy in terms of architecture. It's because in Twinmotion, it's just 2 clicks away from ARCHICAD to VR. We wanted to make virtual reality accessible to every architect. So, and now, please allow me to pass to the Rift ARCHICAD that will present the project we are going to be using during this presentation.
Thank you, Martin. In the absence of Christer Van Wyk, one of the founders of Rift Architects, please allow me to present this studio and their work. Rift Architects was founded in 2003 in Oslo, Norway, and what really differentiates them from other studios is that they actively use the 3D building model from the very early design stages for design, documentation, and also for professional presentation purposes. Clients typically have limited understanding of traditional architectural drawings of plans, sections, elevations. Working and also presenting all ideas in 3D enables clients, as well as authorities, to get fully involved with the design process and share the enthusiasm of the designers. Most of the time, they combine the 3D architectural renderings with the real photographs of the environment when producing design visualizations. And they're all looking forward to getting their hands-on experience with the new Twinmotion engine next year. As you can see, Rift has created many residential buildings in Norway. In addition to the architectural design, they're also involved in creating visualizations for the clients who are oftentimes real estate professionals and need marketing and sales-focused content. Christer and Helge, the founders of Rift, started using ARCHICAD back in 1997 when they were both students, and they've been using Graphisoft solutions ever since. Creating the building information model in ARCHICAD enables Rift to collaborate seamlessly with all the engineers using open BIM workflows without errors and also allows them to create professional design visualizations very efficiently. They started working on the Nordre Jarlsberg Brygge project back in 2006. The site is located about 45 minutes from Oslo, and the client imagined a small residential city here. Rift started developing a master plan for about 2,000 apartments, a marina, which would be the largest in Norway, with the capacity for 1,500 boats, and the development of commercial functions as well. The first apartments were completed in 2007 and 2008, but the project continues developing ever since, because by the end of this year, an additional 500 apartments will be completed. Rift most probably will be working on this project for the next 15 years or so, till the small city by the fjord is completed. They've been very comfortable using ARCHICAD as their production tool in the process. Drawing a huge project like this from scratch makes it necessary to have 100% control of all the infrastructure and building components. Rift handled everything from infrastructure underground, piping, prefab elements, and landscape design. It's difficult to see how they could have handled this complexity without the help of the excellent BIM solution and the special control that ARCHICAD has given them. They've also made all the sales and marketing renderings for this project, and because everything they create is in 3D, the process of delivering professional visualization is a snap. And now, let's see how to create a professional architectural design visualization using next-gen technologies. First, let's switch to Mate Morojan, who is a product manager at Graphisoft.
So, hello everyone. Speaking about BIM models and BIM in general, this is something very much talked about in the building industry, but not always very much understood. And when it comes to 2D and 3D visualization of the design, the most important thing is the communication. How is a design visually communicated? And for that, ARCHICAD's BIM workflows and visualization workflows come in very, very handy. So let me illustrate this. Architects, designers, express the design through mandatory documents such as floor plans, sections, elevations, site plans, interior, exterior perspectives, and some not so exciting looking plans. These mandatory drawings are important for communication, but communication doesn't mean immediate understanding. So mandatory drawings are not enough to communicate. They need to be supplemented by extra informative drawings like sketches, diagrams, pretty enhanced plans, and simple 3D model presentations. So to drive a better communication between the architect and the client. So throughout the design phase, you need sketches, mass models, floor plans, diagrams to support your design thinking. Visually enhanced drawings help to communicate with clients, external stakeholders. Construction documents, permission drawings, construction details are needed to communicate the design intent. But for boosting up the marketing around your design, you need, of course, nice render, preferably in real time with the least amount of effort to create. So let's have a look at a real true 3D BIM model where these visually enhanced techniques are all applied. This is ARCHICAD, and I'm going to do the session first using the Reload Architects Villa project. This is a Hungarian project. So let's just jump right to the 3D view where you can see the 3D model of it. And this is the beginning of the building information model, that all the project-related documentation is stored within one single file. Here you can see the building elements such as walls, doors, slabs, all these elements containing certain BIM data. And on the right, the navigator tool allows you to easily overview and access any part of the documentation, all the mandatory documents, such as the floor plans or the sections. And the coolest thing about BIM is that all the documentation, all the different views are live links to the central building information model. So, for example, if you want to make a modification here in the 3D window, let's duplicate this window. And then let's just have a look at the floor plan. Yes, you see the window I duplicated in 3D is instantly showing correctly in the floor plan. Same vice versa. If I want to remove this window and if I want to delete from this view, it should take effect in all other views automatically. And yes, the window is gone in the 3D view. So that's basically BIM. That's the essence of ARCHICAD. And ARCHICAD offers really cool other visualization features, which is very popular. And it's called the 3D cutaway, which generates these interactive cutting planes. So I can easily just drag down the cutting plane and cut down the model to the part that I want to elaborate, edit, analyze, or even visualize. So here comes in pretty handy if I want to visualize these 2D documents in a 3D fashion way. So yeah, you have to only create just one model. And from that, which you can derive all necessary information. And these are graphically represented depending on the architectural context. So, for example, as part of any construction plan, if you need to show details of certain building elements or how they are built up, what type of materials are used, their dimensions, and how it all fits together, these are important both for both architects and engineers when communicating with contractors. But as I said, usually clients don't necessarily deal with all these nitty-gritty construction details. They need to see enhanced presentation plans. So let's just have a look at an enhanced, just a simplified elevation where you can just have a look at the sky, trees, on the floor plan. You can add more information such as color, material information. Depends on how you want to visually enhance all these 2D mandatory drawings. And another cool feature is that ARCHICAD offers you to quickly, easily generate these 3D documents that you can see here. So I generated a 3D section using the 3D cutaway planes, and then I saved it as a 3D document to which I can add annotations, dimensions, labels, like space and material information. In a similar fashion, we have a very popular white render effect, which you can easily create in ARCHICAD, which comes pretty handy when you don't have much time to render a sophisticated rendering and just want to get rid of all the noise, the surface information and the color information, the context of the design. And you just basically want to have a simple white render that looks like this, where you bring across the space and the simple shape of your design. And again, when communicating with consultants or other stakeholders, you can use this technical model like here, and you can highlight various aspects of the building, such as the installation in section and floor plan view, with basically any color you will want. And ARCHICAD offers also to highlight visually any kind of elements, just that have other functions that you would like to highlight for different reasons. Now, when you are already creating all these drawings and you are ready to communicate, you go to the layout book, where you can put together, create, organize your final architectural layout in any fashion you like. So here you have a typical architectural plan, and depending on what and whom you want to show something, you can assemble all necessary drawings on one layout and use that to explain your design. Here you have, for example, these explosion diagrams that you can just puzzle together on one layout. And here again, if you make a change in one drawing, it will automatically update in your layout sheets. So ARCHICAD is an easy communication tool. And if you want to, for example, use more sophisticated communication mediums like renderings, like these ones, then of course you can use Twinmotion. Because Twinmotion is part of the client communication, a real-time architectural visualization tool to bring forth still images, animations, VR experiences. And now we built a plugin for ARCHICAD 22 and 23. This really is a quite simple and neat project, and Twinmotion is capable of handling this, but let's just switch to a bigger brother, a bit of a more bigger, heavier model, like this one here. This is the Nürburgring model by the Rift architects in Norway. And let's have a look at the Twinmotion palette here after you install the Twinmotion plugin for ARCHICAD. If you click on it, you have a drop-down menu, and you will find a button for the direct link option and for other general settings. As a start, let's open the settings dialog to see the synchronization options. The merge option defines how materials are handled during the synchronization process. If it's set to biomaterials, it means that Twinmotion will merge different ARCHICAD surfaces together based on their name. From the drop-down menu, you can also use the no merge option as well. That allows you to send ARCHICAD BIM information such as classifications and properties to Twinmotion if it's checked below. But note that no merge option can significantly increase the synchronization time. So in general, it's advised to use the biomaterials option. And here you have a second option called substitution. You can use Twinmotion materials and Twinmotion objects. If they are both checked, it means that Twinmotion will substitute ARCHICAD materials and objects automatically to Twinmotion assets based on their name. And you have an optimization drop-down menu as well, where you can exclude objects smaller than a certain size, or you can optimize the geometry or fix the UV texture. And all of these settings is to make it just more suitable for Twinmotion. And when you are done with the settings, you can, of course, save your settings as a default, or you can just simply click on the OK just to finish the synchronization options. And after opening your model in the 3D window in ARCHICAD, then click on the direct link on the palette to start the synchronization. I will do a new model. Note that synchronization only works from the 3D window in ARCHICAD. And probably it will be finished soon. And yeah, finalization. And there you go. The Twinmotion model is perfectly synced from the ARCHICAD model. So let me just pass it over to Martin and let's click and play. Thank you.
Thank you, Mate. So I just opened Mate's file, and the two things that I did off the screen was to replace the water material here and just add some trees on the background, but we will see how I did that during the presentation. First thing I want to do is maybe come a bit closer to the project and talk about Twinmotion user interface. This UI consists of three major panels. The first one is located on the left here. It's it's the library. The library is native inside Twinmotion, and it contains a bit less than 2,000 objects and materials. So let's start by the material. If you want to add a material, it's just a simple drag and drop from the library to the viewport. So for example, here, if I've entered the ground folder, man-made, and if I want to change a material inside my project, it's just a basic drag and drop from the library to my viewport. So let me just drag a couple of material and see how my project reacts, how it feels, how it looks on the project itself. And this is how Twinmotion has been designed. It has been designed to be used as a quick prototyping tool. So you can jump inside Twinmotion, make just some variation, make some ID, bring some ID, test different scenarios, like I'm doing here. So here I just dragged a couple of materials. I think this one looks pretty good. So now maybe I want to customize this material. So at the bottom of the screen, we have the second most important panel in Twinmotion user interface. It's what we call the dock. The dock is basically where you will find all the options, the tools, and the settings. So for example, this square cobblestone over here is still selected. So I have a few options regarding this specific material. So for example, here I can change the color of my material to make it a bit warmer, a bit colder. Can also make it just a bit darker like that. We can also change the reflection. Obviously, it's concrete cobblestone, so it doesn't make any sense to make it more reflective, but you can get the idea. If you have like a nice parquet, you can just change the reflection with one slider like that. And you see the result right away inside the viewport. So next, what we have the scale. So here we can just change the scale of the different cobblestone in just one slider. Same as I was talking during the introduction slide, we wanted to really make the software as simple as possible. So now let's switch to this wall over here. We have some actually some creepy brick. So let's just open Twinmotion brick folder. I will just drag a cleaner brick like this one that looks definitely pristine. In the dock, what I can do for this specific material is just to change the color, so a bit reddish and just a bit darker, something like that. And to finish, just want to change my wood over here. So we'll come to the wood folder and maybe use this one over here that has also a nice reflection on it. So Twinmotion comes with hundreds of materials. They are all built inside the software. As you can see here, we have plenty of different type of wood material, and it's the same for every other folder. We have a small preview on the left, and on the right, we have a bigger preview of what the material look like in an actual scene. So now let's talk about vegetation. Let's start with the vegetation. If I want to add some vegetation to my project, same way as I drag and drop some materials to my object, I will just start with the bush. I will select one object and I will just drag this object from my library to my viewport. As you can see here, I can drop my object wherever I want. So I can add my vegetation like that just by drag and dropping asset one at a time like this. And as you can see here, the vegetation react to the whole ecosystem we have inside Twinmotion. There is some wind blowing in the leaves, and actually the leaves also react to the weather and season system. So if I come at the bottom here to the nature dock and now enter the weather option, here I have two sliders. The first one is controlling the cloud coverage. So if I start to drag this slider here, cloud will appear, and at some point it will start to rain, which will affect automatically all the material of the project. Second slider here is controlling the season. So if I start to drag this one here, the leaves will turn yellow and turn red. And if I move this slider, we'll switch to the winter. In winter, some of the trees lost their leaves, while some just get overlaid by snow. And if I come back to my first slider, because we are in winter, it won't rain anymore, it will snow. And now, just to finish this winter scene, I will come to the effect option and just raise the smog. So as you can see, in just a couple of seconds, I've just switched from my sunny summer scene to this scene in the middle of the winter with a heavy snowstorm. And this is how Twinmotion has been designed to be used really as a prototyping tool, so you can really quickly make some variation, make some tests, and it's all rendered in real time. So let's switch back to our sunny day like that. I will come now to the other side of the project. So because Twinmotion is in real time, that means that at any moment I can also change and play with the time of day. Same thing here, it's just one slider, so it allows me to just see the effect of the lighting throughout my project during a whole day. Before I show you that you can drag and drop vegetation asset one at a time, but in Twinmotion we have also what we call the multi-drop option. To use the multi-drop option, you just click on one object, then you press the Control key and you select other object. Then now at each time I will click in the viewport, Twinmotion will randomly add one object from my selection. So here I can just multi-drop my object all over my scene, and it's done as fast as I can click. So it's just a pretty quicker way to add vegetation, but we have even a quicker way than the multi-drop option is with the brush tool. So we'll come to the nature dock, vegetation. Here we have a drop box at the bottom. You can drag and drop asset from the library in this drop box. Then you select the asset you want to paint on your project. You choose the diameter of your brush, and you can just start to paint your vegetation, your tree directly like that. And this is how I created this forest. It took me just 2 minutes to create using my brush like that. So without going in more details about all the Twinmotion features, something that I want to do right away is create an image and actually show you how you can create that. So let me close the library. I will come now to the media section of the doc, image. I will click on the big plus button to create a new image, a new point of view, a new camera, if you say. If I want to customize this specific image, I can click on the more over here, and all those settings are really specific to this specific image. It won't affect my general scene. For example, in the camera setting here, I like to work with a more cinematic, with a wider camera, so I just change the height. And I can also change the focal of my camera. So now we just move again the position of my camera in the scene, press the refresh button to save the new camera position. And I will right away come to the export section, select the image we just created together, click on Start Export. I will send that to my desktop. By default, Twinmotion export on a 2K resolution. As you can see here, I have my image that has been created in just 2 seconds, and I can right away share that to my client. And as I said, by default, Twinmotion export on a 2K resolution, but with Twinmotion, we can go up to 8K. So let's quit this media mode, and what's next? Maybe, as you can see in the front of the project, it's pretty flat. So maybe it's time to add some details. This is where Twinmotion native library comes really handy because it contains, as I said, hundreds and hundreds of objects. So I just opened the furniture folder, city. I can start with some bollard. For example, here, I will drag this one here. We'll duplicate this object. Here, I can choose a number of duplicates. So let's say 30 of them. Same thing here. I will just, while all those objects are selected, I will just duplicate them again. I will rotate them by 90 degrees, place them at the correct position, something like that. And I'm just going to select the last one and duplicate this one like 8 times maybe. Yes. Actually, while I'm working on that, let me show you one, the third panel in Twinmotion UI. It's the one on the right here. It's what we call the scene graph, the scene organizer. So it's basically a layer system where you can turn on and off objects. So for example, here coming from ARCHICAD, it has created an add-in folder where is actually my project. So I can turn this project on and off. Here is all the vegetation we just added to the project together. I can select all of them and same thing, click on the hide and unhide button to hide and show them all at once. Also, by the way, here at the bottom, we have the statistic panel where you can see a few information, like for example, as you can see, it's a pretty big scene, 0.3 billion polygons. So as you can see, Twinmotion can handle really large data sets. So let's close that. I will just keep adding more details to my scene. For example, I can start with some planters. In Twinmotion, we have plenty of different planters. I will use, we can unlock this one, just going to duplicate this one a couple of times. Like that. I just remove this one that is floating in the air. And actually, I will also copy a new one over here. Now maybe we can add some bench. So I come to the bench folder. Same thing here. We have plenty of different bench that you can drag and drop in your design. Maybe a few other one in the front next to the waterfront. Same thing here. Just duplicate that. So to get the idea, I can spend 1 hour just adding more details to the project, but people might find that a bit annoying, but you get the idea. There is plenty of objects. It's just a matter of drag and drop from the library to add more details to the scene. So now let's add more life. Life in Twinmotion, that means characters that are animated. So I will drag and drop this first character. Actually, let me drag and drop him a second time. At each time you will drag and drop the same character, it will take a random color preset. You can also change the color preset manually in the list over here. You can also change the pose. Maybe he's in idle state, maybe he's sitting, so I can make him sit. Sorry about that. So I can make him sit on my bench over here. I can even add one other person that will be maybe lying on my bench over here. Just going to place her well like that. So I can populate my scene by drag and dropping one character at a time like that, but it might be time consuming. This is why in Twinmotion we also have some groups. So for example, if I select these groups of 3 people, at each time I will click in Twinmotion, each time I will click in the viewport, Twinmotion will randomly add 3 different characters to the project. So you won't see any repetition. So here I'm just adding some characters all around my project, on the terrace, on the different building level. Same thing here on the waterfront as well. So just multi-dropping that all over the place, so you can just populate the scene pretty quickly. I didn't place this one properly, like that. So those characters are all in 3D, they are all animated, they start to bring life to the project, but still, we want to have some people that are moving actually in the project. To do that, in Twinmotion, we have what we call the pass system. So we'll come to the urban dock, pass, character pass, and here I will select my pen. My pen will allow me to basically create a spline. So let me just create a spline that is going through my project. So I can maybe make a U-turn over here. So my pass is going up the stairs like that. And we'll end the pass over here. When I release my tool, my pass tool, it has automatically created the animation. All the people are automatically walking along the path. And it's that simple to create an animation. You just create a spline. When you release the tool, characters are walking along the spline. If I select back my spline, we have different options. So for example, here we can choose the type of people, we can change the clothing, we can change the width of the path or the density of people. So it's not really suited for this project, but you get the idea of what you can do with this system. So finally, let's talk about the different media you can export out of Twinmotion. So we have already mentioned how image work. We can also export panorama. So a panorama is just a 360 image. We can export video, we'll see that. And we can also export what we call a BeamMotion. A BeamMotion is basically a standalone viewer of your project. It will export a .exe file that you can send to your client. You just double click on the exe, it doesn't require Twinmotion. You double click on the exe and it will launch his project in this full screen mode here, without all the editing tools that you have inside Twinmotion. But still you have, the end user will have a few options. If I open up the ribbon at the bottom over here, we can, for example, see that you can change the time of day, you can change the months to make some sun study, you can also change the weather, the seasons. The end user have a limited access, to a limited set of options just to visualize and navigate inside this project. And finally, how you can create an animation, how you can create a video in Twinmotion. It's as simple as creating an image. So you click on the big plus button to create a new clip. This new clip contains the starting keyframe. This is where your camera will start. Then you simply move the camera inside the viewport, you click on the small plus button, and Twinmotion automatically creates the animation between the two keyframes. And obviously, you can create any number of keyframes. So I can keep moving inside my project, create a third keyframe like that, and Twinmotion automatically follow. Let's now just create a second clip somewhere like that. Same thing here, we just create second keyframe over here. And in this specific clip, I wanted to show that in Twinmotion, there is plenty of different visual effects to keep customizing your render. It starts with the color gradient. You can basically change call different LUT. You can change that directly inside Twinmotion. When you selected one, you can change the contrast and the saturation of the color gradient. Then we have some filters. Filters are more artistic effects like blueprint, halftone, or black outline. And then finally, we have what we call the clear render. The clear render basically puts a color overlay on top of every materials. You can change this color. So for example, I can make my project a bit white, grayish like that, change the translucency. And there is even a filter where you can disable this effect on some part of your project. So for example, here, I can disable this effect on the water. And now I can navigate my scene with this filter enabled. So I can really walk through my project with this white model look. So I think that's it for this quick introduction to Twinmotion. Thanks for being here. I think, Levente, we still have some time for some questions.
Martin, thank you very much for the demonstration. And before taking some questions, please allow me to tell you that if you would like to start creating professional design presentations right away, you may download ARCHICAD as well as Twinmotion using the links presented on this slide. Please remember that Twinmotion is free for all ARCHICAD 23 users. However, the next version of Twinmotion, which will be available next year in 2020, will stay remaining free only for ARCHICAD 23 users. So thank you very much for the demonstrations, and now let's answer some questions.